Hi friends, this is Mary from Middle of the Ride, and first off I want to apologize for my voice. I am still a little under the weather, but I wanted to take time to be part of a collaboration that some lovely ladies at the YouTube Mommy Meetup are doing about how to get started with your planner. A lot of those ladies are doing paper planners, which I think is awesome. Absolutely nothing against paper in any sense of the word. I personally love it, and I'm definitely not saying that I will never use paper or go back to paper. But I wanted to take some time today to show with you how I use my phone as my planner and how I plan completely digitally. So I wanted to give you some tools and some reasons why I plan digitally as opposed to using a paper planner right now in my life. The biggest reason probably is while I may not carry around a paper planner everywhere I go or even everywhere within the house, I almost always have my phone with me. That's just something I do for a safety measure for myself, and so that if anyone needs me for an emergency wise, I'm close to my phone and they can have me. But you know, that's something that I'm just always going to have with me anyways. So being able to access all my notes and events and tasks within that phone that I'm already going to have with me is a great thing in my book. So that's probably the biggest reason. And also, I spend a lot of my productive hours online. So when I have time to work, when baby girl's resting or something like that, I'm usually online because I'm a virtual assistant and I do some other things online, such as this YouTube channel. So if I'm already online, it takes so much less time to enter it rather than go look for my planner, open it up, add it in, that sort of thing. Also, I don't know about you guys, but the mommy brain never went away from me. So it's very nice to be able to have reminders pop up on my phone, which, as I stated before, I always have with me. So if it's something that I really need to do, I can set a reminder to do that task or to make sure I remember that event coming up, that sort of thing. And along the same lines as it's searchable. So if I am looking for something and I can't remember exactly where it is, everything that I'm sharing with you today is searchable, and that is something I use on a regular basis, and it really helps me out with my day. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you sort of my screen. I say use your phone, and the biggest thing that I decided for when picking resources for myself is picking resources that can be used throughout many devices. So I have a Windows computer, an Android tablet, and an iPhone right now. And I can pull up these resources at any time on any of these, and they are all synced. And that is very important to me as well. I don't want it all stuck on one device. I don't want to have to worry if the device goes kaput, that something's going to happen to it, that sort of thing. So some of these you do have to use, or you do have to pay for a pro version. I know my task manager, you have to pay for a pro version to get unlimited syncs, but the calendar and the note section, which I'll share in a little bit, do not. So I would definitely keep that into account. You know, nobody wants to have to worry if their phone falls that they've lost all their information. You want those to be able to be synced with other devices and things like that. And I'm going to show you how I use these on a computer screen because that's the best way I have to record to share for you. But just know that on a typical day, I use most of these from my phone. And when I need to do more complex work, that's when I go and go to my computer screen, that sort of thing, to use that. So I hope you enjoy, and I'm considering making this an ongoing series where I explain more in depth how to use these tools to your best advantage and other ways that I make my home have less paper in it that I have to keep track of and store. So if that's something that interests you, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll know that that's something that other people would like to see as well. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll go ahead and share my tools with you right now. So my first tool is a calendar tool, and I think a calendar, if you can only have one piece to really organize your day, I really suggest a calendar. And this is not my complete calendar. I had some personal things on my complete calendar that I didn't really want to share with the public. This is my YouTube calendar. And what I use for my calendars are Google Calendar, because it is completely, I haven't found a program that I can't use it with. So even if I'm using different apps on my iPhone, or before that my Android phone, that sort of thing, to make it look different, I can still have it synced with this Google Calendar, which is always accessible online. And what I love about Google Calendar is that we can have multiple calendars over here. So you can subscribe to people's calendars. You can add, I think my personal calendar has about 15 different calendars, because I have my own calendar, I have my business calendar, I have some clients' calendars that I need to take care of. I have just a lot of calendars, and I even I have a family calendar that I share with my hubby. I have his calendar so he can put on there when he has appointments and things like that, and I can see those. And it's just really nice to have. So that is a great advantage of Google Calendar, is that you can share calendars with other people in your life that you need to. Another great thing is that you can add repeating tasks. So one thing I do, little girl and I have just started going to library story hours, so I can set a repeating one every Tuesday when our library has that, so that I can look at our calendar and see, okay, if we want to go to that library time, it's at this time, and I don't have to input those every week. That is one of the major advantages as compared to paper. Paper, you're going to have to keep writing it, or if you use a sticker, moving it, that sort of thing. Not here. You can just set it to repeat. Also, you can move things, which is great. So actually how I use this for YouTube is I put my ideas on the weekends, and then, as I get to recording them, I'll move them to a day once they're recorded. And then this is sort of an advanced tip, but I actually have something set up where when I publish a video, it places it on that day automatically. I don't even have to do that. So if you're interested in knowing how to do that, I can make an advanced user video. Just let me know in the comments below. But it's so easy to move it. So say, I thought I was going to record this video on the 7th and I didn't get to it. So now I know I have an open time on the 16th. I can move that there. Move it back. No, nothing is hurt there. Another thing for personal events, you can add addresses within the event, and one thing I love about that is it makes it so easy when you're using your GPS on your phone. So you just click on the event on your phone's calendar, and then you can open it up right within the GPS and get exactly where you need to go. If you have an Android phone, it works fantastically. If you put that address in there and allow Google Now to read that address and your event, it'll let you know based on traffic when you need to leave. And that was just something, honestly, I think that is one of the only couple of things that I really miss from my Android phone. There are options for that for the iPhone, but I haven't found anything that works as well as that. I love having those addresses handy. And that's, just a basic thing of some of the reasons I love Google Calendar. And if you're just going to try one thing digitally to see if it works for you, I would definitely try that. So after a calendar, the next thing I have to do is have a task list. I have a crazy brain and I just always have things going and running and in my head, and I have to get it out on a task list. Or else it just keeps going. So my task list really runs my day, especially when I get online. And what I use and what I've used for several years is Remember the Milk. They recently did an update and it's even better than it was before. I forgot to mention, I don't pay anything for Google Calendar. It's completely free. I do pay the Pro version for Remember the Milk, and I do find that it's worth it right now. I think you guys know I'm extremely frugal, so I've debated about it before, but I did go without it for about 3 months. No, not 3 months, maybe even just a month. I went without it for a little while last year, and I really, really missed it. So I use this for my business. I have an entire list of all my virtual assistant tasks, and that is actually my very most important list on here, because it keeps me in line when I get online to do my work. I know exactly what tasks I need to do for my clients, and most of my clients' tasks are repeating things. So every Monday and Wednesday I need to check this email box, and every week I need to remember to post this on their Facebook group. That sort of task, I can do those sort of repeats. So every Monday, Wednesday, every week, every month, that sort of thing. And that is just so nice to have on my task list. I can't show you that, unfortunately, because it has some personal things on there. But I don't only use Remember the Milk for my clients' tasks. I also use it for personal tasks, as you can see, and my YouTube ideas. So these are some ideas that I had. Some of these I'm going to get to. Some of these I'm not. Okay, so you see here, I didn't get to what I got my Valentine's. That is, we got totally sick. But the point of the matter is that I have it down, so I can move it to next year. So I could, keep this in mind for next year, that sort of thing. This is another thing that I have using. I think it's If This Then That recipes. So they're kind of connected with all 3 of these areas here, but I love having it down so that I can look through the list and see, here's one that I'm working on right now, my tools for organizing my life without paper. That was an idea I had. This collaboration came up, and I thought it was a great way to share with you all how to use your phone as a planner without paper, that sort of thing. So I can go through these every now and then, check them off, that sort of thing. I can even connect this with my Google Calendar, and I can also connect it with my note tool, which I'll show you in just a moment. If you're interested in knowing how to do that, again, let me know in the comments below, and I can do a more advanced version. I don't think that's necessary for everyone, and I don't think it's necessary for you to get something out of this system. Remember the Milk is something that you kind of have to get in there, really use the tags, use the due dates, that sort of thing, to really feel like you're getting everything out of it. But it is so worth it. And you'll see over there that I have different tags. So I even have one for crafty ideas that I have. I have one for a brain dump that I just kind of dump everything into and sort it through on hopefully a weekly basis is my goal. Just having those ideas out of my head and knowing that I can find them when I have time to work on them, that sort of thing, as far as crafty things go, is great. And when I really take care of putting due dates on items and things like that, then I know that they're going to come up on my list when I need to see them, and I don't need to worry about them before. It's not overwhelming me on a giant list. It's just something that I know when it shows up, it's time to do. Another great thing on this is bills and things like that. And one final note about, actually 2 final notes, sorry, about Remember the Milk. One, if you put a time in there, you can set it up so that a reminder will pop up either in your email, a text message, or your phone. I love doing that. One thing I do is, in our household, we have a prescription that someone needs to take at a certain time every day. I have it pop up on my phone, and then that way we can make sure that that prescription is taken at that time or around that time. That has saved us more than once, because it's just not a time of the day that we're normally thinking about medicines and things like that. So that's one great example for that. And the other thing I wanted to share about this is I've really started doing this lately, and I found that it's just saves me so much time, is I use Siri on my iPhone. You could use Google Now, I believe. I haven't looked into setting that up, but I'm pretty sure you would be able to set up a way to do that. But it's really easy with Siri. Again, I can show you if you're interested. Let me know in the comments below. You just hit Siri. You say, Siri, remind me to change the garbage bag tomorrow. And so Siri will add that to the reminders, and you can set it up on your iPhone to just go automatically to remember the milk. I don't want reminders on 7 different areas or just on my iPhone, so that's why this is so great. It'll go in my list for tomorrow, and I know I don't have to worry about it anymore today. The final thing that I use is lovely, lovely Evernote. So this probably isn't the first time you've heard of Evernote, if I had to guess, and you probably either already know about it and love it, or you think it's totally useless. I really, really love Evernote, and Evernote is something I could probably go on about for hours and hours of why I think it's so great. This is where I absolutely use the searching technique. So the biggest thing I use search for is this area of what I consider my digital planner. So if you're thinking of a paper planner, this is the notes section in my mind, in my book. But you can search it. You can even search, if you take a picture of something, you can search the text on the picture, and that is just so beyond awesome. You know, it's sometimes tricky if you use your handwriting and take a picture, but more often than not, it will read that correctly for me as well. So I'm just going to share a couple. I think I have 4 things here that I use Evernote for as part of my planner. Again, I could go on and on and on about it, but I'll spare you. So the first thing is record keeping. I definitely use Evernote for anything that I might need to refer back to. So I've used it for the size of our air filter, our license plate number. Every time we go into a hotel, they ask us what our license plate number is, and we don't go into hotels often enough that I have it memorized. So having it there is so helpful. Just things like, my favorite thing that I put in there as a record is I bought the same chips 3 times, and they're completely too spicy for me. But every time I went to the store, I forgot that those were the ones that were too spicy for me, and I would buy them. And my hubby finally said, listen, you got to stop doing that. You need to put yourself a note somewhere so that you don't do that anymore. So I got a picture of him holding the bag of chips, frowning at me, and I put chips that are too spicy for me in the title. So if I'm ever at the store and I question, are these the chips? I can remember that by searching Evernote on my phone. Silly, but it totally works. I haven't bought the chips since. The other thing I use this for is my journal. And, I would love to be someone who eloquently writes in a journal every day. That's not my life. But I do find that my journaling success rate is much higher if I just plan to do it with my phone. If I plan to write a few sentences each day in my phone, and put in any adorable pictures of my daughter that I have that all come to a journal section of Evernote. And I am really kind of kooky about backing up things. So what I do is, every 6 months or a year, I try to go ahead and print those out, just because my journal is so important to me. I don't worry about a lot of the stuff I have in the cloud, because most services will give you a chance out of those. But, my journal is something that I do want to have a paper copy of. So that is one thing that I will print out. The other thing is a crafting notebook. So I love to crochet and knit particularly. And, there have been times that I have seen a pattern online that looks really great. I don't have time to do it right then. And when I've gone back to try to find that pattern later, the website's down or has changed and I can't find it anymore. By using the web clipper, if that is something you're interested in, learning how to use the web clipper, let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to do a video about that. But I use the web clipper to clip that whole page, and that allows me to have that pattern later, and then when I am sitting on my couch getting ready to crochet it, I can pull it up on my phone, or I can pull it up, my tablet is probably my favorite for using patterns and things like that, just because of the bigger screen, but I have that available when I need it, and I don't have to worry about the website being down, or saving it on a file on my computer, that sort of thing. My final thing is what I actually want to share with you on the screen. and it is probably my most referred to section of Evernote. So it is my recipe section, and what I do as far as recipes go is I will use the web clipper to save recipes online. I will take pictures of handwritten recipes from ones that we've done in the past, or ones that are shared by friends or family, that sort of thing. I'll take pictures of the packages. If they have a recipe that looks really great, I'll take a picture of that. And I save it all to a specific folder called recipes, which I share to an account where my hubby can access it. And you know, saving recipes is something that's kind of a hobby for me. I used to have a lot of recipe books, even though I'm really kind of terrible at cooking. I'm getting better, but I'm still kind of terrible. So this is sort of my substitute for that. I really only have a few cookbooks now. I consider this my cookbook. And what I do is I tag them all with recipe, and then I also tag them with what they are. So this is a food I found on a site that does healthier foods, so I know if I'm looking for something a little bit more on the healthier end. And then soup. And this is actually from a website called Emily Bites, and I just saved her whole page here, and there's the recipe. And I love pulling these up on my tablet in the kitchen and using it that way while I cook. And then also, like I said, this is a recipe that I printed many years back, and I decided to go ahead and scan it so that I would have it accessible here, because even if you have the physical copy, you know, if you're at a friend's house and they ask about it or something like that, you could share it with them. You can email this note to someone or print it for them very easily when you have it with you. And you know, I'll always have these on my phone. Or another great reason for keeping your recipes in an Evernote situation, even if you do print them out, is you know, if you're in the store and you're wondering, how did I make that gluten-free brownie? Well, you can look it up to make sure you have the ingredients. Or if you have a gluten-free brownie mix and you're like, I know I made something with this last time and it was great, what can I make with it? You can search that term and it will search the scan and find this recipe. Another thing that I'll try to tag it with is family favorite. So if I know, if you know, I'm really looking for something that my family in our house really likes, I can search by that tag to find it within the recipe notebook and things like that. This, like I said, is probably my most referenced section. I do a lot of meal planning within this, and again, if that's something that you would like to see, let me know. I can show you how I sort of queue up recipes that I want to try in the near future, things like that, and meal plan off of those. And one other final thing that is great about Evernote is that you can set it up where if you do a reminder in Evernote, it sends it to Remember the Milk, which is pretty cool in my book. So it's all connected. These three things can be connected if you want to do that. You don't have to by any means, but it's a great way to do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I thank you all for sort of seeing what I use as my basics for my digital planner, and how I sort of free my life up of having that paper with me on a daily, moment by moment basis. I'm not against paper in any way, but this has really helped free up my life, especially at this point in my life where a planner's not going to work for me at this moment. Not to say that it won't in the future, but it's not right now. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever used your phone as a planner, if you prefer paper and why, and if you'd like to see any more of these types of videos in the future. And if you would like to see more of this in the future, please be sure to hit subscribe so you'll be notified whenever I submit a video to YouTube. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a very blessed day.